Hey guys, Twitch JCB here. I'd like to discuss with you on my experience with Valkyrie Profile. One of the main things I liked were the dungeons. They have done a fantastic job bringing variety to its puzzle elements and background design to make them different in every possible way. This was placed into my memories of which ones I've had a lot of fun with compared to the ones that I stumbled figuring out how to solve it. Scattered around these dungeons are an assortment of enemies and treasure chests which may have traps when opened. One major accessory that helped collecting these was the treasure sense, as some were very tricky to find without it. Along with these elements were the platforming segments, as we have many areas to use our skills to jump and create icicle platforms to progress on. These sections can be very tricky as we need to remain patient because traps are there with us falling. With the dungeons being longer in hard mode, there are events that we complete to gain experience points that are placed into our experience orb, as we can give these points to any of our characters to level up. Next up I enjoyed was the battle system, as it is a turn-based system with having 4 characters assigned to each face button to perform an attack against the enemy. Each of them has a class to use a type of weapon in battle except for Valkyrie, which you can use both swords and bow and arrows as a choice. Personally, I would have given her the option to use all kinds of weapons to show that she can be used in any manner as we please. The beauty of the combat system is to experiment with different types of combos you can use against the enemies. Aerial combos benefit more in terms of gaining more experience, but grounded combos are more sufficient to speed up characters attacking again after using a spell or special attack. Furthermore, special attacks can only be achieved by having the Mia reach 100 after all the hits have landed on our turn. It's a special reward after securing a satisfying combo for extra damage and great animation on displaying the prowess of each character's abilities. The story is split into 3 different endings. For my first playthrough, I decided to go for Ending A, which is considered the best ending, and it is required to use a guide because it is easy to miss the important parts we have to do in order to obtain it. There are differences between the difficulties, as I chose hard mode to get the full version of the dungeons, all the characters, and the highest amount of periods available per chapter, which is a feature for our actions having a limit going into towns or dungeons. It is totally worth going for Ending A, as it mainly focuses on Valkyrie finding out her real identity before her memories were sealed away by the gods. The initial story, however, we followed into the beginning was Lenneth, who is the Valkyrie being awakened by the gods to do a job of traveling to Midgard to collect warrior souls that are suitable for the upcoming war against the gods. Using a special ability, we are able to hear the voices of the fallen warriors and travel to these places and explore their backstory. Each of them shows the events of what happened leading to their death and what possible qualities they could use for the gods. Some of the stories really do their best to emit emotional attachment value towards these characters on what sacrifices they had to accept, whereas others are follow-ups to an overarching story between multiple characters that eventually shows a sad conclusion. Sometimes they even question our morals based on their actions to show if they are deemed worthy. My favorite character from what I did see wasn't the most emotional or informative, but yet the one that could possibly have an interesting backstory. It was Lysiria, who is deemed as the power of prophecy, who decided to freeze herself due to her powers being uncontrollable at the time. Unfortunately, we could only obtain her very late into the game, and after the stories have been told, there isn't any further character development put onto them throughout the rest of the story. While we are searching for the souls of the warriors, we have a world map whereby we can fly around with the Valkyrie to several different locations. It's amazing being able to fly around at high speeds, traveling to different locations around the map. However, once we land into these towns, we conceal our abilities into our human form while we talk around to a few NPCs, as some of the places are desolated and nearly empty due to recent wars. It creates less importance of exploring these places in depth, but at times, there are treasures left behind for these warriors which may be helpful for us on the journey ahead. For further features surrounding the game, we would have to find out ourselves and learning more, as when I found out about the Bracer of Zoe strat of gaining more health every time we leveled up, it was easy to deal with any situations late into the game. Also, transmutation was a huge importance to craft new items with the help of jewels into really strong equipment before post-game. I found out about this by using certain guides online, and without it, may have been a harder challenge on my side in the end. Overall, Valkyrie Profile is a great game going through dungeons and a creative battle system on being able to choose from a variety of characters. However, the story is a huge joy going through Ending A, as the others lack harshly in comparison to it. If any of you guys have any experiences with this game, feel free to share in the comments, and I hope you have a wonderful day.